Senior Counsel General, are we ready? Honorable Sangon.
Thank you, Chair. No, I just wanted to come in before the SC resumes. Chair, I've got a request, man. The testimony today has been very confusing. Can we request that we get a write-up of a chronological order of this communication? So who sent what to whom, when, and so forth? Because it's a bit all over the place. If we could have that in the morning, it would be really appreciated.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Senior Counsel, did you get the point that the honorable member is making?
I write up.
Just a chronology of the correspondences that have been happening. You remember before we broke earlier, you said to the general that I'm going to ask you questions about the period leading to the dissolution, the period at dissolution and post-dissolution. So my understanding is that the correspondences that have been happening in the department between the senior echelon, the honorable member is requesting that if that information or that timeline, if we can have a timeline of the correspondences for proper understanding, just to have that in a proper chronological context.
We'll try our best. We'll do it, Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hopefully get on before 12. Okay, may I proceed?
Yes, no, I have handed the reins over to you so that you can lead us. I believe this is the last round. Yeah.
Sorry, General. Just leading up to, and I'm reading from because you know, if I'm not putting things to you properly or fairly, then obviously you must just tell me or you disagree. Because your understanding is that there was some kind of an agreement, and this is evident or evidenced from this action plan presented by Kumalo, and the dates are there, and they're all 23 March, and even so, you seem to say that you even indulge that by making it the 24th of April, a month later, but a cutoff date had been agreed. That seems to be what you're saying.
But that what was approved by the National Commission.
Okay.
In his own words.
Okay. So if I may just put to you what, because again, just on the objective facts, clearly the task team was not disestablished or discontinued or terminated at the end of March.
It was not.
It was also not disbanded by the 24th of April.
It is correct.
It was also not ever disbanded because the commissioner, as you now know, after you made a submission on the 12th of July for money, because you were now going to distribute the work of the political killings task team to the murder and robbery squad, and you, in other words, just another division or another section was going to continue with the same work. You made a written proposal, and that Only afterwards, after I think you were, don't think you were officially suspended, but you were stay-at-home order. So that only came on the 27th of July. So that was refused. Mkhwanazi had, however, made and Khumalo submission for additional funding for the task team until the end, until March 2026, and that was approved. So all that we know. And as we speak, we know the task team is still operating like they used to. You agree?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what General Masemola said prior to this meeting on 5 March. I appeared before the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee of Police for a briefing by the SAPS, amongst others, focusing on the challenges relating to crime intelligence and investigation against Major General Khan, the status of the PKTT, and details of an interview by the Provincial Commissioner of KZN during the 2025 Police Day. I think that was in January 28th. It was a virtual meeting, and then he says who was attendance, and you were also in attendance. During this session, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi made an allegation that the minister knew a gentleman by the name of Brown Mkhwanazi. This is but one of the allegations made by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi at the meeting. Minister Nkunu denied knowing a gentleman by that name after the meeting, in a meeting where I was present together with the Deputy Ministers Matali and Poshielo, and the minister repeated his denial regarding Brown Mkhwanazi to me and the 2 Deputy Ministers. And this is the one I want to get to. On the 6th of March, I attended the ministerial meeting in Cape Town. In attendance at the meeting was the Minister, Deputy National Commissioners, Policing and Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Musikili, and Lieutenant General Sibiya, Lieutenant General Khumalo, Chief of Staff in the Office of the Minister, Mr. Gabinde, Lieutenant General Sutumile, a Lieutenant Colonel, and me. In preparation for this meeting, Lieutenant General Khumalo prepared an updated presentation of the PKTT. After Lieutenant General Khumalo presented the briefing note to the Minister, the Deputy National Commissioner of Policing and I were in favor of the plan. But the Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Sibiya, and the Chief of Staff of the Minister, Mr. Kabini, were against the plan. They were in favor of the immediate disbandment. The Minister's conduct in these meetings, and in general regarding the disbandment, was very concerning to me. I inquired from the Minister at the beginning of the meeting what was the reason and background for the decision to disband the PKTT. And then the Minister responded that the political killings took place pre-94, not after. During the meeting, the presentation of Lieutenant General Khumalo was partially accepted. The Minister was adamant and supported by Lieutenant General Sibiya and the Chief of Staff that the dockets had to be returned to the station of origin and not to another unit or structure in KZN. The Minister also made it clear that the phased-out approach or winding down of the disbandment of PKTT must be finalized during 2025. Nevertheless, and this is really the point I want to ask you about, because it seems to override this plan that was presented on 6. Nevertheless, the meeting concluded that Lieutenant Generals Khumalo and Sentumile must revise and amend the plan in accordance with the decisions taken during the meeting. This must be prepared for sign-off by the Minister. It was agreed that there would be a further meeting convened on the 27th of March to finalize the plan. Until then, no further action would be taken because the plan had not been approved and signed. The following was highlighted in the presentation. The need for the avoidance of adverse and unnecessary challenges that could be faced if the PKTT is disbanded was of paramount importance. In this regard, the proposal that there be a phased-out approach to the disbandment along the lines set out in the preliminary report. 2, insofar as the 114 dockets were already on the court roll or before the court, the recommendation was that these 114 dockets remain with the current PKTT officers, both in KZN and the Eastern Cape, until finalization of the prosecution process, and thereafter there will be a gradual withdrawal of the remaining PKTT members until all cases are finalized. And then there was a proposal how the remaining members of the PKTT would have to have the following responsibilities. I'm not going to read that out. That's for the record. That's at paragraph 138 at page 44 of General Masimola's affidavit. Then the General reproduces this plan at paragraph 139, and that is where you say there was some kind of an agreement or consensus or whatever. It says there, submit the final close-up report to the Minister 31 March 2025. But then at 140, the National Commissioner says, on 27 March 2025, a follow-up meeting was held regarding the implementation of the PKTT disbandment plan. In attendance at this meeting was the Minister, the 2 Deputy Ministers, Lieutenant General Suntumele, Lieutenant General Sibiya, Lieutenant General Khumalo, and a Lieutenant Colonel, and me. I must mention that the PKTT portion of the meeting, the other 10 attendees appearing on the list was not present in the meeting. Furthermore, the Lieutenant Colonel's name doesn't appear on the attendance list, but she was in attendance in the meeting during the presentation of on the PKTT, as she accompanied Lieutenant General Khumalo, and understood that she had assisted in the presentation of the preparation of the presentation. When the PKTT disbandment agenda item was discussed, the Minister became visibly angry. At this point, I, together with Lieutenant General Khumalo, was still proposing that the disbandment not be implemented, but if it was going to be implemented, that it be a gradual disbandment as proposed and agreed in the 6th of March 2025 meeting. I have no idea what transpired after the 6th of March meeting that had such a significant influence on the Minister. He was now completely against the agreed gradual approach and reverted to the immediate disbandment. The Minister appeared to be angered by the fact that the statistics presented to him in the meeting showed that the PKTT members were still working and had made progress as reported by Lieutenant General Khumalo in the meeting. So, Lieutenant General Sibiya, for your comment, this is what the National Commissioner said. There was going to be the bottom line is no immediate disbandment. They will continue to do their work until these cases are finalized.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
I agree with the fact that the National Commissioner didn't agree with immediate disbandment. And he actually produced a plan that speaks to the phasing out approach. And that plan is that what was found. It's exactly what happened.
He also didn't agree with what you wrote there on the 24th of April in that letter which you handed me, and which Brigadier Kuneni, the investigating officer, referred to in his affidavit, where it calls for the return of the dockets and effectively the disbandment of the PKTT by I think also the 24th or the end of April.
Remember that, Chair and members, the National Commissioner never made it visibly clear that he doesn't agree with the minister. And I'm sure he has said it many times, even in the commissions, in particular the Madlanga commissions. He said he didn't really object. Then they asked him, would you carry out with him an unlawful instructions? He did. He never visibly really said, no, I don't agree. The National Commissioner worked with everyone, with us. And he never indicated really that it's not in agreement. That's why he could come up with an action plan that he approved, the one of the 6th of March. And you remember that statement where he said, he instructed General Kumalo, and his instructions took precedence over mine. We were not in competition with the National Commission. He's the National Commission. Once he say left is left. Once he say right is right. So to say his instruction took precedence over mine. Personally, I'm saying whatever that happened on instruction of the National Commissioner, starting from the email that I received on the 3rd, leading to the action plan crafted by General Kumalo, leading to the docket being brought over as per the action plan. Everything that happened because the National Commissioner gave that instruction.
Well, it doesn't appear
From senior counsel,
sorry.
I just want to bring this matter to the attention of the House. There are South Africans who are following these proceedings, and at times they struggle to hear us. I don't know whether the problem is the sound of the respective devices that they are using at their houses. But if we can try and help the Republic so that we do not get a regular feedback about people complaining about the sound that they struggle to hear us. If we can try and help them. You may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. But you see, the National Commissioner's position remains consistent with respect, and this is apparent from his evidence, and I'm reading to you again from his affidavit, because you will recall that you submitted a proposal for additional funding. Why? Because the PKTT was going to be disbanded. You asked for additional funding. Clearly not for the PKTT. It was for the continuation of the work of the PKTT, whose dockets you had now requested to be returned. And this work was presumably going to be allocated elsewhere. So on the 22nd of July, and this I think while you were at home, on the 22nd of July, the National Commissioner disapproved your request for funding for the investigation of the 121 political task team killing dockets proposed by Major General Motsepe and recommended by yourself. This was in essence a proposal for the 121 dockets to be investigated and finalized by the Serious and Violent Crime Investigation, Murder and Robbery Section. And then the funding request by you is attached. And then the National Commissioner says, I disapproved the funding because it was essentially a duplication of the PKTT's mandate. I also questioned why the dockets are at headquarters when it was agreed that some dockets from the PKTT be returned to the station of origin. And that is still the case until today, Lieutenant General Sibiya, and you accept that?
No, I don't agree. And it is
You don't agree with what?
Uh,
I'm saying the position as far as the PKTT is concerned, they still remain in place. They still investigate all these dockets. They've been returned. They're working on them. They're processing them. They're proceeding with prosecutions, etc. And they have now been extended until 26 March 2026. I thought we agreed that earlier. Those are the objective facts.
Council, you give me a wrong proposal, and when you ask me, do you agree? And I say no, and you say you don't agree with what? I'm saying to you now, Council, when the dockets were collected and were taken to General Mkhwanazi, he rejected. And when he rejected the docket, they informed General Sintumule immediately informed the National Commission. The National Commissioner said, let General Sibiya make a plan, the DNC make a plan. Then they put a team together, and General Motsepe prepared a report and a request for a budget for the members to go down and carry on with these investigations. It's not a question of we were disbanding and then starting something new. We can't close a task team only to start another one. That was not the idea. And I'm sure we all agree that General Mkhwanazi did agree that he refused to accept the docket because he says he was not told how the docket left. When he found out how the docket left, he immediately said, no, I don't want them, let them go back to where they can take them to General Sibiya's office. And I also want to make sure that, because Council, there's somewhere where I wanted to highlight that General Mkhwanazi did in his statement, where he made a statement here and at Maglanga, where there is a contradiction, because at one moment he said he spoke to General Kumalo and asked General, or he was informed by General Kumalo as to what happened, why the dockets there. The first time he got to know about the fact that the dockets are ahead of the office, he said is when he got a call from General Sintumu. And the second time around, he says, no, there was a case management plan or discussion in KZN, and there's a colonel who told him that no, the dockets are at head office. So he gave two contradictory statements. So I just want to...
But General Sibiya, with respect,
Yes, Council.
the fact that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi refused to accept the dockets is neither here nor there. He never had the documents in his possession or under his control. The person who was responsible for the dockets was the project team leader, and that is Brigadier General Kumalo. So when the dockets are returned to General Mkhwanazi, he says, oh, why are you bringing it to me? I've never had these dockets. What must I do the dockets? So I would submit to you with respect that that's neither here nor there, that he refused to take the dockets back. Surely, and that's also what he said in his evidence.
No,
just to round it off, that these dockets must be returned in the way they were taken away in the first place.
No, Chair. Let us look at this thing for what it is. The dockets were taken to General Sintumule, who is the Divisional Commissioner of detectives, who is the custodian of these dockets, called General Mkhwanazi, who is the Deputy Provincial Commissioner for Crime Detection, that I'm bringing this docket down there. And the general said, let me hear from the PC if I can receive this docket. The provincial commissioner said, I don't want this docket in my province. Take them to General Sibiya's office. And that is a fact. That is what happened. He doesn't deny that he said that.
In fact, he wasn't even aware, General Sibiya, that the dockets had been removed. I mean, this was only confirmed on the 20th of May, according to his statement, at a case flow management meeting, when he subsequently learned that the dockets were handed over on your instructions.
I need a statement where he says, I learned for the first time when I received a call from General Sintumul about the dockets. And that's when I got to know that there are dockets. The dockets are not here. He gave two versions, different versions. And those two different versions cannot be mixed. They cannot be ignored as well. They must be put together on different affidavits.
General Sibiya, I'm submitting to you that we will be here even longer if we must dwell on this issue. I am saying to you that it is of no moment. What we were discussing was whether or not the directive of the minister on the 31st of December to disestablish the task team immediately, whether that was ever implemented. It clearly appears to be the case from our interaction, from our discussion, from what I've put to you, from what you've put to the honorable members before this committee, that was not the case. It was never implemented immediately. There were differences. Maybe we can leave it at that. There were differences with this plan. But at the end of the day, we know that the PKTT still exists and is still in operation.
I agree. It was never implemented fully, but what happened is exactly in terms of the action plan that says this is what is going to unfold. We are going to be taking the docket. The phase-out approach talks about 3 stages. The first stage being to take the docket to Murder and Robbery Unit, which was presented by General Khumalo in cabinet, in Parliament, Portfolio Committee, and the very next day at the meeting of the 6th. Now, that is what they were implementing in phases. The first phase being to take the dockets to the Murder and Robbery Unit. That is why the other dockets and instruction was given that they be, the 3 dockets and instruction was given that they be sent to Eastern Cape, Umtata. But the bottom line is that what the National Commissioner and General Khumalo presented on the 6th, that we are going to face it in, is what happened. The bringing of the docket is the first phase. And remember that the National Commissioner had already said he gave an instruction. He even told them that ignore that one, to ignore my instructions. And of which the National Commissioner is allowed to do that. So whatever that flowed thereafter from General Khumalo cannot say, or anybody for that matter cannot say, yeah, but you gave these instructions and it was complied with. Already the National Commissioner instructed General Khumalo to say, ignore that one, or ignore this. This is where we are going now. So there's no way any other person can listen to me over and above the National Commissioner, especially knowing the position of the National Commissioner. So General Khumalo cannot here come and say, or General Sintumule cannot say, I was instructed by General Sibiya. The bottom line is, the National Commissioner said, Kumalo, do this. And that is the report that was presented before the minister. That includes the phase-out approach. Now, when we talk about the phase-out approach, this is what the National Commissioner said. We are going to do it in terms of the phase-out approach. Now, the phase-out approach, let's spell it out. The first phase is bringing the dockets that are under investigation. The second phase means the dockets that are in court for decision and in between. The third phase being the court dockets that had to now be carrying on until their finalization. To an extent that in their presentation, they even said most of the cases will actually end in 2025, which was not correct. We're almost towards the end of 2025 and they are far from being over. These are court dockets. You cannot say they will all end in 2025. But of importance is the fact that the first phase says to deliver the dockets to murder and robbery where they belong.
Can we perhaps look at a few aspects that are more favorable to you?
Well, everything should be favorable.
At paragraph 85 of your statement on page 27.
27.
Yeah. Have you got it there? 27 of your statement.
Yeah, or 27 of my statement.
Of your
yeah.
statement, yeah. Paragraph.
I've got it, Councillor.
The docket once open is in the custody and control of the detective, and I, as the Deputy National Commissioner, Crime Detection, am responsible for all the dockets in the country, including those that are with the DPCI and IPID. All dockets in the country at all police stations fall under your responsibility. And I want to reference, if I can go to the information note at page 60 of the core bundle. And specifically page 62 at paragraph 3.5.1. Maybe you can read 3.5.1a.
Page 60.
62, paragraph 3.5.1.
Yeah. This is a business case submission to improve the performance of the detectives in accordance with the SAP's annual performance plan. This is a document that I drafted for the approval of the National Commissioner that seeks to improve the performance of the detectives. Now, it reads thus: the purpose of this document information note is to provide the National Commissioner with the situational analysis of the detective performance and the proposed measures to improve it in accordance with the SAP's annual performance plan. The crime detection consists of 3 divisions, that is the detective, forensic services, and crime intelligence. And the value chain of crime detection is defined at the time a crime is reported until prosecution, and further enables the department to effectively combat and investigate crime through adequate training and resourcing for crime detection. So
Can I ask you to fast forward, please, to paragraph 3.5.1 small a on page 62.
Dockets allocated to various investigation environments. The Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection is the custodian of all case dockets within the South African Police Service. However, there are case dockets that are investigated by other environments for whom the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection has no control over, whilst he must account for such docket. These case dockets are taken into account when the performance of the detective service is being measured. The table below is an indication of the total case dockets not under the control of the DMC crime detection. Now,
So let us just don't want to spend too much time on this. You want to expand on it. It seems to me that your statement in your at paragraph 85 on page 27 is supported by this document, this plan, which you say was approved by the National Commissioner.
yes, Councillor.
And it does, however, say at 3.5.1 small a, however, there are case dockets that are investigated by other environments for whom the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection has no control over, whilst he must account for such dockets.
Yes.
So it seems a bit unfair. You must still account for them, but you don't have any control over it.
That is what we are correcting.
Now, isn't the PKTT one of such
No,
environments?
no, it's not.
Or are you referring to IPID?
Can I read them into the record? We have national components such as the borderline operations. We've got chemical monitoring, counterintelligence investigation, crime intelligence gathering, cybercrime investigation, PCR, Directorate independent complaints. We have flash services. We've got Interpol, narcotic investigation, coordination, national head Directorate for priority crime. We've got also national priority violent crime, national and transport organized crime groups, non-ferrous metals, organized crime desk, precious metals, priority crime management center, sector investigation, SANEP project, seconded members of other organizations. Now, serious commercial crime investigation, serious economic offenses, serious organized crime investigation unit. This is just head office national. Now, when you go to the total number of dockets there is 1,133. So those dockets are the dockets that are somewhere at head office, but not under the detectives. I need to know where are those dockets because the system says it's still open. In the Eastern Cape, we've got 2,305 case dockets that are like the Eastern Cape banking and electronic crime, Eastern Cape crimes against the state, Eastern Cape fraud and statute, Eastern Cape serial and electronic. So when you go according to the provinces, you can see the total number of case dockets. Now, these dockets are all over the country, and when you look at and you concentrate and you go further, you will see that the same as for the case dockets being investigated by the Independent Police Directorate, IPD, these case dockets are also taken into account when the performance of the detective is being measured. But neither the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection, the Provincial Commissioner, or the Deputy Provincial Commissioner Crime Detection has any control over these dockets. Currently, there are 26,795 case dockets under the investigation of IPD. In other words, there are these dockets that are at IPD. Starting from when IPD started, they sign for dockets from the police station. When they close the docket, they don't return the docket to the station to get files somewhere in IPD offices. Now, the system is open, this side. But once you push for all the dockets that are at IPD, that are at the DPCI, all those respective environment, your system improves, the performance of the detective improves. That is why you will see that you have 40,929 outstanding for more than 2 years are with DPCI, and the DNC crime detection has no control over this docket. There are more dockets at the units under the DPCI, but there is currently no system in place to draw the total of all cases within the DPCI. This also impacts negatively on the performance of the detective service, as the performance is calculated with the case docket taken into consideration. Now, we've got heavy workload of the detectives, and the table below dictated the total docket carried by members of investigating units. Now, when you look at the members, we've got 184,935 case dockets, and you look at the total case docket, members who are carrying between 1 and 50 dockets. We have 2,651 members who are carrying between 1 to 50. Members who are carrying 50 to 100 dockets, we've got 648 in the country. members who are, no, this is the Eastern Cape alone. 101 to 200 cases is 450. Those that are carrying between 200 and 300 cases on hand, and one person carrying between 200 and 300 cases, you find that you've got 118 members. Now you've got members that are carrying 500 to 600 docket, one person. We've got 7. And then those that are carrying 601 and more is 4. And then we've got a specific number. I've got a name here in Mtata, who's got the highest workload of 685. I don't know the situation.
So, General, just to interrupt you there, sorry. There were then ultimately recommendations of how to improve the performance of the detective service, isn't it? And that you'll find at page 84. There were these recommendations that were made, and they were approved by the Divisional Commander, Detective and Forensic Services, HKS Ntumile, on the 20th of February 2024. They were approved by you on the 22nd of February 2024. And they were approved by the National Commissioner on the 10th of March 2024, although he says 6.1.1 approved. Are you at 84? 6.1.1 is the DPCI and IPID have their own SEPs 6 on the EIS. He approves that, but he says 6.1.2 not approved. All case dockets at Crime Intelligence, POPs, ORS to be returned to the detective service environment. 6.1.3 is approved. 6.1.4 approved. 6.1.5, he says that requires expand or explanation or meaning, not approved. 6.1.5 is the National Commissioner to direct all provincial commissioners to implement a docket reduction strategy, in brackets recovery plan, and then the other recommendations are approved.
That's
So
correct.
so that would have been the status quo until it's changed. Has it changed since then?
No, it doesn't change. Here, I was just actually highlighting the fact that we've got, as detectives, we've got dockets scattered all over the country that we cannot account. And we've got dockets that are open for more than 10 years in the system. Others are open for 20 years in the system. Others are open for 15 years. Where are those dockets? So that is why I make this presentation that actually seeks to make sure that we know how many dockets we have. And then if we know how many dockets we have, why do we still have a simple assault case open for 5 years? Why must it take so long? Why do we have a docket that hasn't been attended to for more than 10 years? Where is that docket? Why is it open? So this is when we need to make sure now that we cover that, we close the gap in making sure that in the system, what we have is dockets that are alive. Now we've got many dockets that we cannot account for years. And to an extent that at some point we even received a query from correctional services that there are certain inmates that you find that every month or second month their docket get postponed for 5 months. They've been in prison for quite too long. Their dockets are not being finalized because they keep on being postponed. So this seeks to address issues like those.
But General Sibiya, I can reference, and these are your documents. You put them into the bundle and the core bundle. At 87 and 88, you address the issue of poor performance of the detective service. So it's all commendable. You even address IPID. And also at page 90, you address the Provincial Commissioner Eastern Cape on the alleged poor performance, demanding feedback from them by the 29th. But if you look at all of that, you don't see any reference to the PKTT.
Because it was never an issue in my case, the issue of the PKTT is a just team that was running and it doesn't form part of this. It was not even a focal point on my side. Here I was addressing the whole country, looking at the crime levels and how to improve the performance of the detectives.
The other document, there was reference to it, but we also know that this report at page 54 to 59, which was drafted by Motsepi, that was after the July 2025 briefing. And his conclusion is at page 59, where at paragraph 3.18, he comments that the disbandment of the political task team is partially disbanded as they still carry dockets to court and dockets which are sent to and from senior public prosecutor. Conclusion. The statement of the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal during the media briefing is incorrect, that the dockets are gathering dust in the office of the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection because the team were analyzing and inspecting the dockets and extra funding is requested from the Office of Chief Financial Officer to finalize the investigations in order to render service delivery and justice to the deceased families, as the investigators are expected to conduct the investigation in KwaZulu-Natal, and the budget of Division Detective and Forensic Services cannot cover investigation-related expenses. That was the Motsepe report.
Yes, that is the...
Which I read to you earlier, which the National Commissioner said he disapproved of. He didn't agree.
Yes.
But again, as I said, you know, these are the kind of things that happen which seem to support your approach to how the matter should be handled, how the PKTT dockets saga should be handled.
Council, on the when this report that you call a Motsepe report was crafted or was drafted, it was after the press briefing by the Provincial Commission on the 6th of July. Now, we needed to make sure that there was a report as they conducted an inspection. They received the dockets and they realized that, but what the Provincial Commissioner is saying that the dockets are gathering dust is not true. And then they conducted, because they had conducted an inspection on all these dockets. He said they are not being attended to. And if I can refer the Honorable Chair and members to the page page it starts now on the on page 234.
Sorry,
Page 234
234 of
of
Your-
main file.
okay, your bundle. SBA 19.
Yes.
Okay.
It is important to take the members through this document. This is the 121 docket spoken about. Progress report on political killing cases. When you look at this docket, let's look at first page, which is a hiding and it's a double murder and attempted murder. It was reported on the 20th of 12, 2016. And this one affects an ANC councillor. The last time it was, last day of investigation date, it was on the 2023-03-24. So in order to assist the honorable members on how to go through this document, you can see it has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. Now, when you look at 1, 2, 3, the fourth column, and you see the date on which this matter, the last day of investigation, you will realize that as you continue to page.
Okay, so just to contextualize, this is an analysis of the dockets that were handed over from page 234 to 300, SB 19.
Yes.
So who prepared or who did this analysis? You didn't do it yourself.
No, I've never
You've
been
actually
involved
never
in the
physically had any of the dockets.
I've never
You've
seen any
never opened
docket.
any of these.
Never opened, never seen anything,
you-
never reached my office
You just got this report.
from the team. Now, when you look at this docket, and let me hasten to also mention that all these dockets are KZN docket, plus maybe the last three of Umtata, the three, to make 121. No Gauteng matter is here, no Katiso Molefe, no Ket Matlala here. These are all KZN, those dockets that were handed over. So now when you go, you will see that, let's say, 2, Mpopomeni, it's a double murder. And it's not political related, this one. It is just a matter where the deceased was shot while sleeping in their house. So we also have, you look at number 3, Denauza. At Denauza, it's murder, it's a house robbery and theft. It is not politically related as well, as you can see. And then even when you page, or you look at the last date of investigation, you go to Wanongoma, robbery, waiting with a firearm. The last day of investigation was the 15th of 12, 2024, and it's taxi related. And then look at the Muden, it's murder that was opened in 2021. The last day of investigation was 2022-02-24. And it's a traditional leader case. Now, this is one of the dockets where you've heard General Mkhwanazi saying that some of the dockets were at the stage of arrest. Here, the situation is charge of pointing of firearm is outstanding, J50 to be signed, arrest second suspect, begins Zita, also and so, place the docket on court roll. Now, it does not necessarily mean that it was really ready to just go and arrest, because you still have to take it to the prosecutor to sign the J50 warrant of arrest. But since this docket will be seen for the first time by a new investigator who will have to acclimatize, study the dockets, consult with the prosecutor, then act on it. But without wasting time on this docket, if you keep on opening like this at number 7, you will see that the last date here is 2020-03-30. The docket were not gathering dust in my office for 3 months when this docket was not attended to since 2020. It was never opened.
So can we just summarize the point of wanting to show this to the honorable?
I really want to
members?
summarize, Council, but I must also say that this is the crux of the 121 dockets that were taken to head office gathering dust. Now,
Yes, one is not all of them are political killings.
Not all of them are political killings. Some are drugs related. Some are just traditional land
Taxi
related
violence,
cases.
drug related,
Taxi violence.
leaders.
Yes.
So it's a whole range of things which come up ordinarily there's nothing specific, nothing special about it.
But of importance, let's go to 237. I just want to demonstrate at the goal where you say in Mkhwanazi, in Escort, in Thornville. This docket of Mkhwanazi, the last day of investigation is 2023-08-16. That's when an entry was made in that docket. It was already gathering dust, not being attended to. When you look at Escort 1, 2019-07-21, the last day when this docket was open. 2021-06, Thornville. Now, you go on and on and on the whole list as you go paging, you will see that these dockets were really not being attended to. This 121 docket that is much being spoken about, no, they were dead already, put in a corner, not being attended to. There was no agency here. I'm saying to this committee, they can call for those dockets and even call General Motsebe to say, all right, let's see that the press briefing, was General Mkhwanazi telling the truth to the nation, or was he misleading the nation when he was saying the docket of the political dust team have been called by General Sibiya, they're sitting in his office, they're gathering dust in his office, making the country angry with lies. Here are the dockets, and I'm still saying this ad hoc committee can call for those dockets just to demonstrate, because they are there. We also have copies of this type of docket. If you go paging through step by step, you will see that this docket, it doesn't matter which page you choose. You go, let's say I went to 250, now you can see 2021-09-06. That was the last date of writing in this case docket. So all I want to say, honorable members, let's go to 279. The last, this one is 2018-12-2026. 2018. Now, you go the one above is 2022-06-01, 11. So I'm just demonstrating to this house that there's nothing like the dockets were gathering dust in General Sibiya's office not being attended to. Let us be fair to the process and let us tell the people of South Africa the truth.
So you deal with this at page 31, paragraphs 101 to 103 of your statement. Page 31, paragraphs 101 to 103. Sorry? Oh.
Honorable
Have you
Ngcobo.
got the general?
Go to page 31.
It's 31. There's a subheading there, status of the.
May we please take Honorable Ngcobo?
Chair, thank you. I don't want the general to leave us confused. For example, he has made an example of the docket number 5 model, where it says outstanding. the prosecutor must sign the J50 to be signed. Then the next step is the arrest. So my understanding of this, which is reflected in the report, is that there was an imminent arrest here. But we continuously get confused because the general keeps on saying, this does not mean that really there was going to be an arrest, sorry. So we are getting confused in the, from that angle. We don't understand. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, if Muden, this docket, the last time it was opened, it is 2022-08-24. That is on the 24th of August 2022. And the status says J50 to be signed. From 2022 to 2025, why didn't they arrest this person? Where was the docket? Yes, it is there in the docket. But from 2022 today to when the dockets were handed over, why would you want to blame 3 months over 3 years? 3 years the dockets were with you, you didn't arrest. For 3 months the dockets are at head office, and after you rejected them after all, then you say you address the nation and you say dockets are taken by General Sibiya, they are at head office, they are gathering dust, when you rejected them first time around. It's not fair. And I wish the nation can also register that point that they were misled.
Chair, I'm satisfied with that, Chair. So, thank you.
You can proceed, Senior Counsel.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I almost said Comrade Chair. It's that time of the night when you get a bit tongue twisted. But you dealt with this, General Sibiya, at 101, 102, and at 103, perhaps you want to read that concluding paragraph on page 32, 103.
Can I read from 101?
Yes.
There's a hand behind you.
Before you read, let's take the hand of Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. You know, the evidence leader was saying he apologized, but we didn't hear him well because he was not on the mic. Can you please clarify exactly that? Thank you.
He apologizes for what?
Saying he apologized too, but we could not hear him well because he was talking, you know, not on the mic. Oh, there was not. I'm saying, what was he saying? Because he was talking somewhere on the corner there. Thank you.
Okay. You know, sometimes when we have moments like this, I'm going to ask honorable members to stretch their arms. Those light exercises. Okay, no, it's fine. Let's come back to business, Senior Counsel.
General Sibiya wanted, thank you, Honorable Chair. He wanted to read paragraphs 101, 102, and 103 into the record. It's page 31 and 32 of his statement.
I just want to say, honorable members and Chair, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi said during his press briefing that the dockets were taken to head office, to General Sibiya's office, and that the dockets were gathering dust in his office, in my office. He further said that some of the investigations were nearing an arrest stage. I just demonstrated that they were never in my office and they were never gathering dust, and he rejected them. This is not true. The dockets were not in my office. It was provided with a report on the status of the investigation of the dockets, and the reports on the dockets was prepared by General Motsepe, who I would suggest that the honorable this committee, ad hoc committee, should in fact really request General Motsepe to come and clarify some of this, because she's the drafter of the report, and she together with her team are the one who compiled that report. But of importance, I want to say it appeared from the report that some of the dockets were last looked at 5 years ago and some 4 years ago. This means that the dockets were gathering dust for many years. And a copy of the report on the 121 docket is attached as SB 19. Now, I want to say that really I'm failing to connect the statement of General Mkhwanazi when he said, when we took the dockets, we thought that the dockets of Katiso Molefe and Ket Matlala, or the Big Five, are included. Therefore, we missed the target. It defies logic because all these dockets are KZN dockets, and the persons to whom they were referred to are all in Gauteng, and the dockets would be in Gauteng. There is no basis for belief that the KZN dockets would contain Gauteng cases. Such a statement is designed to mislead the public. Now, I'm just saying, the task team, the fact that apparently they were asked or requested to come and assist Gauteng, I think somebody needed a reason to say, Mare, how can we say this docket were being disbanded, this unit is being disbanded because of these matters of the Big Five? No. This thing comes back a long way, not influenced by anything, but purely by the circumstances. Starting from even when the CFO said, post the elections, this task team must be deactivated. It has got nothing to do with what was happening in Gauteng. Now, when you say it is because of what was happening in Gauteng on the Katiso Molefe or Ket Matala, the Provincial Commission of KZN says in his address, there was a white man by the name of Mr. Swart who was arrested in Vereeniging, who works for QTEX. And I want to commend the people of the members of Gauteng, because when the KZN team came or arrived, they had already effected arrest before his arrival. They have arrested. In fact, they were arrested same day by members by the Metro. Then he says, "Let me pause. But I want to know, what did General Sibiya do there? I played no role. I didn't know about the matter. I never called for a docket. I never did anything." Now you say, all right, Katiso Molefe's arrest. On such and such a day, members of the PKTT went to arrest Katiso Molefe. Calls were coming in and say, we see black cars. We don't know whether it's robbery in progress or what is going on. Now they say, all right, he says a team was dispatched from head office. When they got there, they found that the members were doing their work. And they left because the members explained themselves and produced their IDs, and the members of the DPCI left. What did General Sibiya do? I was nowhere near the picture. I didn't do anything. I never did anything. I was not involved. How do I get associated with the fact that we took the dockets because of that? Those are the challenges that I really want to know. Why, even if someone hates you, but don't lie to the public. Let's go.
Can I assist you and refer you to pages 23 and 24 to the top of 25, where you deal with the operations of the PKTT and the alleged involvement of organized crime. You deal with it from paragraph 68. through to 75.
May I just be allowed, Chair, please, to finish or push this paragraph 103? Because it is also significant. Now, in paragraph 103, General Mkhwanazi sent a team of 10 people to head office after his press briefing on the 6th of July 2025 who wanted to take pictures of the docket. General Motsepe, however, refused because the president announced that there would be a commission of inquiry. The National Commissioner called General Motsepe thereafter and informed her that the team sent by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi just want to take pictures on the docket. General Motsepe still refused and said, and kept the docket locked in her office. Now, General Mkhwanazi goes and addresses the nation. He doesn't have information of what he's talking about. He addressed the nation and said the dockets were taken. They are at head office, sitting and locked somewhere in General Sibiya's archives. I don't have archives. I don't have safe in my office. Now, having realized that, but he lied to the nation. He sent a team of 10 people to say, go and inspect those dockets. You can't go address the nation, then you want to go and inspect after a fact. Now, they say, no, but General Motsepe says, no, but you already addressed the nation. Now, this is for the commission now. Let's wait. Now, the National Commission then calls and say, no, Cookie, they just want to take pictures. No. They said what they said. Now they want to take pictures so that they must justify. Now, for them to get the docket, then an investigating officer get appointed in my disciplinary hearing, which is General Patekile. General Patekile then come wearing a cap that says, I'm the investigating officer. I'm investigating the charges against General Sibiya for defeating the ends of justice. Then takes the docket to General Mkhwanazi and National Commissioner at the college. Now they sit with those dockets. With General Makashalala, they go through the dockets now on their own. And they can see, because when they took the dockets together with General Makashalala, they could see that, but these dockets were not being attended. They were never attended to. And what did they do? They realized that should this docket go to the commission as they are, we might be exposed. What do? An instruction get given that let this docket go to KZN. That's when there was that information that says, but why now taking the docket to KZN? Because this docket must be seen by the commission. That's when it was said that the dockets, copies were made of the dockets, but there are copies of the docket that can show for a fact that these dockets were not attended to for a period of time, for a number of years. They were there. So I've exhausted this part. I just wanted to demonstrate that part, that it is my prayer that General Motsepe be summoned by this House to just come in and clarify certain things. And then, can I proceed, Chair? Where must I proceed, Council? I say I'm ready to proceed, or should I just proceed? That's correct.
So, yeah, I was dealing with your involvement or knowledge of the operations of the PKTT and organized crime in Gauteng, and you deal with it from paragraph 68 through to 75 on page 24 and 25. At paragraph 70, or let's start at 69, you say, the investigations referred to in Gauteng were headed by Brigadier Gopani of the Organized Crime Unit, who reports to Major General Kumalo, who is the Deputy Provincial Commissioner, Crime Detection. I was aware that Lieutenant General Kumalo of the PKTT was also part of the investigating team, but the investigations were headed by organized crime.
Chair, please assist me to get the page. Where?
Page 23 of your statement.
Page 23. I've got it.
Okay, so I was just reading back paragraph 69. You want me to repeat it?
Yes, the investigations referred to in Gauteng were headed by Brigadier Khopane of the Organized Crime Unit, who reports to Major General Khumalo, who is the Deputy Provincial Commissioner Crime Detection. I was aware that Lieutenant General Khumalo of the PKTT was also part of the investigating team, but the investigation were headed by organized crime. Now,
so you can read the next paragraph too?
I was not aware that the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit made a request to the PKTT for assistance to investigate and dismantle the organized crime syndicate operating in their country, and which is said to be controlled in Gauteng province. I was also not aware that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi deployed members of the PKTT to support the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit. Now, personally, members, I want to believe that this thing of saying we are sending PKTT to assist members in Gauteng of the cartel against the cartels that is operating in Gauteng, it's not true, not correct, not true completely. What is happening here? It is something that was actually planned, carefully planned, to be able to fight to fight and defy the instruction of disbandment of the PKTT, because these cases were really running. The case of Swar, Mr. Swar, was resolved already. The case of that involved maybe Katiso Molefe, it was well under investigation, and it was running, and there was no interference from my part, at least, that says do this or don't do this from my side at all. Now, to say now we know that the reason for the disbandment of the PKTT is because of there was this connection with the drug cartel. And yet, when you look at all the cases that are here are KZN cases. Nothing to do with Gauteng. Now you just say, no, we received this request to go and assist. The process started long time ago of disbandment. It started long time ago. It didn't start because of these cases, these two cases. If the reason why was to protect those ones, I think they would have done with these cases a long time ago and not even bring all the cases, the 121 dockets, and disband the whole task team just because of those two cases. I don't think it's fair or it's correct. It can't be correct. It's not true. So, as far as I'm concerned, somebody needed a reason to be able to fight back and push back on this thing.
So you said paragraph 72, I also do not know who authorized the operation between organized crime and members of PKTT.
Yes, because at some point, the PC of Gauteng didn't know. And then you will hear different explanations where General Mkhwanazi said, we received from organized crime. And then I heard him also saying that, no, it so happened that they were working with General Khumalo of crime intelligence, and when they realized that there are cartels, then it became a counterintelligence matter under General Khumalo. And then as a result, it became a counterintelligence measure under General Khumalo. And then that's when they come here. And then because he requested assistance back home in KZN. And then that's how they got in. Now, when they came in there, They say when we realize that this team is running around, they are conducting investigation, and then that's when we disbanded and we missed the target because we thought that those dockets are part of the 121 dockets. No, it's not correct.
Okay. And the arrest of Mr. Katiso Molefe, were you aware of that? Were you involved in that at all?
I was not aware at all, and I was not involved. I don't even know the facts, the detailed facts of the case. I do know for a fact that now they're talking about being involved in the murder of Mr. Swart somewhere there. And then I also heard that it's somehow connected to DJ somebody. But safe to say, for me, that as the Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, I don't always get involved on the day-to-day cases that are running. If a case is running smooth, I don't get involved. If there are challenges and I'm approached, either by the National Commissioner or the Deputy Minister or the Minister, or let's say a family is complaining, I jump in. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of, if you remember the Lusikisiki 18, because it was a national crisis. I mean, 18 people, family members wiped out. I went to Eastern Cape. I spent almost 2 weeks there running on the ground with the members. We arrested all of them. If you remember the case of the journalist in Mpumalanga with the wife, the team were running smoothly.
You were in Lusikisiki.
I was in Lusikisiki.
The minister was also there.
He was not there. He came there with the management for a visit, for a briefing. I'm the one who briefed them there.
And they said that Brown Mkhwanazi was also there.
No, it's not true.
Did you not see him there?
Well, we were at the police station in a hall like this, and then there was no Brown.
Okay, I interrupted you.
Now, the one of in Mpumalanga, the journalist that was murdered there in Mpumalanga, he actually disappeared and nobody knew where they were, together with the wife. I was called by one journalist and say, General, can you please assist also, get involved in this thing? I called for a meeting on a Sunday. I called for a meeting on Sunday morning, called all the investigators, even in Gauteng, intelligence, everybody. We met in Mamelodi on a Sunday and we launched an operation. I went with them there from we went. And in 2, 3, 4, 5 days, we traced the bodies in the bush. We resolved the case. I jumped in when there's a need. I don't interfere in cases. So I was just saying, it's not like one is interfering in cases, and it must be known that I get involved in all the cases throughout the country, including the AKA matter. I spoke to the parents of the other parents, not the parents of AK, but I spoke and I went with the spokesperson there. We were involved. So a lot of cases we get involved. We're not interfering, but it shouldn't be that when it suits somebody, because somebody showed interest in a particular matter. No, he showed interest because he wanted to do 1, 2, 3, 4. It's my job to get involved in nationally in all the cases.
So is it your evidence that the disbandment of the PKTT, or the attempt to have it disbanded, because we know as a fact it hasn't been disbanded, is the attempt to disband it does it have anything to do with organized crime in Gauteng or anywhere else in the country?
Not at all.
Is there anything that appears from the Molefe report on what is contained in the docket or referred to in any of the dockets? Does it relate to or link up with organized crime in Gauteng?
Firstly, I haven't seen a Molefe report. I haven't seen any report. I haven't seen any docket. I've never been involved in any docket. So in this case of whether Katiso Molefe of Mr. Swaro, I don't know anything. But what I know is that in the 121 dockets that I have, there's no Katiso Molefe, there's no Mr. Matala there. The only thing that I must mention, though, is that what I know is at some point I got a complaint from Forensic Science Laboratory. It was the general responsible for the component there to say members of the PKTT went and they summoned the official that is involved, the ballistic expert. They called the ballistic expert from home in Loate under the pretext that the prosecutor wanted him to correct a 212 statement, and they asked him where he was. He was at home, and then they called him to Loate police station. Then from there, and it was a team of armed, some in camouflage uniform and some in your NIU uniform. And then they took him to his office to open the office of the ballistic at night, which cannot be done. It shouldn't be allowed, and it was wrong. They then forced him to open the office, and they were there interrogating him, and they demanded to take the files. They took the files and the laptop of an forensic expert, the ballistic expert. They took even the files of the PKTT, including guns, a gun or guns. And for them to be removed there, I think they called highway patrol, but they called another unit of the police to come and have them removed there. And there was even a hostage negotiator called. I had in one address, General Mkhwanazi saying, I don't know whether it was at Madlanga or at this ad hoc commission, where he says, no, they are being influenced to open cases, to open a case. They spent a day with that person, they even bought him lunch. It's not true. We're sitting with affidavits, we're sitting with reports of the brigadiers and the generals that were reported to IPIT. And they even say when the docket, when the laptop came back, it was tampered with. They could not even open the laptop. It was tampered with. Now, that is being rogue. That is being rogue. And if this house really would allow also something like that and not question it, it's being rogue. You cannot have a disciplined member of the police unless you think you are above the law. You will go to the forensic department at night and force the forensic office to be open and seize some documents or the laptop. That laptop has lost its credibility as we speak. That laptop, it has been tampered with. Now, we must bear in mind, Chair, neither is General Mkhwanazi an investigator. Doesn't know anything about investigation. Colonel Khumalo, Lieutenant Colonel Khumalo, was Mkhwanazi's driver. He's also investigating this thing. I don't know if General Khumalo's got investigation. I know he's investigating, but he's never been an investigator. I don't remember him being trained as an investigator, unless he's got that certificate that says he did investigation. I might be wrong. Now, the same member of the political killing task team members, including Lieutenant Colonel Khumalo, these are the team that are investigating going kicking the doors. There are so many cases opened. They went to Fort Hare University and they took money from accused number 1 at Fort Hare University. That matter is investigated by the DPCI. There is evidence, they don't deny, but nothing is happening. Why some of the people are above the law? They can do as they please. Nobody takes action because they are protected. We need to know how many cases were opened against these political killing task team members. They are there. No action is being taken because there are some powerful individuals that cannot be questioned. It's wrong. The country shouldn't allow this. They are here, they are operating, but yet they are suspects. No.
Can I ask whether, or what your thoughts are on whether Lieutenant General Kumalo can be your head of crime intelligence and serve as the head or the leader of the political killing task team?
It is very wrong.
Why is it wrong?
You cannot start from you being a brigadier at a lower level, major general, lieutenant general. You are still in charge of the political killing task team. The function of crime intelligence is to gather, collect, collate, analyze, and support the investigative capacities. You are crime intelligence. This country is suffering already in terms of intelligence. There's no intelligence in this country. Yes, they are doing a good job on the ground to a certain extent, but we are sitting with, tell me, who are the people that are killing the children in Hanover Park, Eldorado Park, the kingpins, the people that are behind? Who are the suppliers of the drugs, all the firearms, the proliferation of firearms? Who is behind the cash in transit? Where do they cook these drugs? The clandestine laboratories. We've got a number of criminal activities that are taking place. The hitmen that are all over from KZN, that are being supplied by KZN into the country as a whole. Let us be able to contain the situation. Crime intelligence needs to be able to tell us who's behind the touching of the trucks. Where are the people? So that we don't have a repeat of all this. So counterintelligence is struggling as we speak. And there's so much that they can still do, yet its leader is busy running around also conducting investigations. It's wrong. If you are in intelligence, be in intelligence, don't be seen anywhere, and focus on intelligence.
Senior counsel, before you continue, I must take some notes here. General, you mentioned names of your colleagues who you say they went to collect money from a suspect.
Yes, they did. Hotel
in Fort Hare.
In Fort Hare, accused number 1, hotels were paid for them. They were bought clothes. They were rented vehicles, and the money was deposited into their bank account. I'm saying something that exists, that is there.
And who did you say are those colleagues of yours?
PKTT members. Then I listened to when Judge Madlanga was asking the national...
I don't want you to elaborate. It's just a clarity seeking. So in my record, I must just say PKTT members.
Yes, I can mention names if there's a need, but in this case, I'm quite sure about what I'm talking about. These are the same members who went and kicked the doors at forensic and seized their laptop. These are not trained detectives.
How many are those members? Because it's like you are reluctant to give. How many are those members that you implicate in this bribery?
I have statements, I have reports, but they may be between 6 and 10.
Okay. And then the last, did I hear you properly when you say there is no crime intelligence in this country?
There is, but it can do better.
No. Just to check if I properly captured that statement. Did you say there is no crime intelligence in this country? We should be knowing who is committing these criminal activities, the hitmen, this and that.
Chair, many of the operations that we see happening, like your crash in transit, they are there. They give information, but there's still a lot that can improve or where we are not winning the fight at all. And that is where I believe that crime intelligence should actually, that is why there was a meeting where the minister at some point wanted to know who's behind the drugs, the drug law, the drug cartels, who's behind the proliferation of firearms, who's killing people in these gang-infested areas, in all these areas. We need that kind of intelligence. Who are the kingpins behind the extortions?
So you, essentially, even if you may not repeat that statement, you are just saying that where you stand, you are unhappy with the progress that is being made.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I think I just wanted to understand that, but I see there are two honorable members who have, or three. It will be Honorable Skosana, Honorable James, Honorable Ngola, in that order.
Thank you, Chair, once again. I think the clarity is not yet clear from the General. Because what I've noted as well is that the General said there's no crime intelligence in this country. Now, I just want to capture, because I don't want to, when we start tomorrow, then it's like we are misleading the witness on the day. So this clarity, it doesn't come up clean, General. I think when you said there's no crime intelligence, do you really mean that there's no crime intelligence in the country, or something else? Because what you said on record is that in this country there's no crime intelligence. I thank you, Chair.
Look, Chair, literally speaking, I don't say there is no crime intelligence. They don't exist. They exist, but there has been instances even where General Mkhwanazi himself is saying that in KZN then there's no crime intelligence really that is giving satisfactory performance there, because you have a lot that is going on. There were instances where you find that there is cash in transit, sometimes 2, 3, 4 times in a day, even in the Eastern Cape. Yes, now we say we need crime intelligence that will immediately after crime has been committed, that day, that week, we need to already know who's involved. This is the crime intelligence that we are looking for, that is proactive. Many a times that will know things before they happen sometimes, because they've got informers on the ground, they will know what is going on. I don't necessarily mean that there is no crime intelligence. And if this is what it meant or how it was understood, let me withdraw it now at this point in time.
What are you withdrawing, General?
The statement that says there's no crime intelligence, because I wasn't meaning literally speaking that there's no crime intelligence.
But the one that you said that you are not happy with the progress that crime intelligence is making, you stand by it.
I stand by it.
Okay, thank you so much. Honorable James.
Thank you so much, Chair. When General Sibiya spoke, he didn't mince his words. He was clear. He even qualified his statement. He qualified his statement. When General Mkhwanazi spoke, when General Masemola spoke, they all said the same thing. When we questioned General Masemola and the crime detection, which spoke to crime intelligence in this country, he said there's actually no, it doesn't exist. He did say that. All three of them said exactly the same thing. Yes, there's a unit called crime intelligence, but how effective is that unit? So he has withdrawn his statement now. So I'm not sure if this is even worth going into, but all three generals came here and they qualified and they spoke about exactly the same thing you're speaking about. And when General, when we have operations, that's the one thing we lack is intelligence. So let's be truthful here. Thank you.
So, Honorable James, you want him to restate?
Don't know what to say because he withdrew.
He says, where I stand, I'm not happy with the progress that crime intelligence is.
I don't know what to say, Chair, because he said there's no crime intelligence. And he qualified it by making examples, which I agree to. And I also reflected on the statements made by General Mkhwanazi as well as Masemola. But then he went and he withdrew it. So my input was based on what he said.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Soul, is your hand up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can I check who else want to speak so that we take the honorable members and we hand over to the senior counsel? So if your hand is up, Honorable Sol,
No, Chair.
it will be Honorable Ngola and then yourself. So those are the last hands of members that I'm taking. And it's now 21:52. So at some point around 10 o'clock, we should be starting to prepare ourselves for the fifth round.
No, thanks. Let's take it as withdrawn the statement. It's fine. The second thing, Chair, which I think emanates from your first question. We are running an inquisitorial process here. And we are due to make an analysis of whether or not there's a necessity for us to do a second batch of witnesses. And at the center of the terms of reference of that committee is interference in the police service. Now, I don't think we should take the evidence of they and them as it is. General Sibiya must tell us who went to Forte by name, who went to Forte to solicit money or bribes or however you term it. From who is this accused number one? We may not be familiar about the details of the case. How much was solicited? I think we need that detail to be registered and recorded. Thanks.
Do you want him to say it now or can he submit to?
He can submit, Chair.
Okay.
He can submit, it's fine.
Either way, General Sibiya, if you feel you may want to write that list, you said about 6 to 10. So the understanding is that 6 is the minimum number of names we can get. So if at some point during the proceedings, you feel like you may want to list the names, you can just say, Chair, I think I want to give you the names. Or if you want to submit a list, you will indicate and say, no, we will send you that list. Whatever way is comfortable, gives you comfort. I think we were fine. Honorable Souls.
No, Chair, I just wanted to say that not all of us understood the general to say that there's no crime intelligence. My interpretation of what the general was saying was that it can do better. Because how the question came about, SC asked the general, does he think it's a good idea for General Khumalo to be the head of PKTT and crime intelligence? He then responded and said, no, it's not a good idea. Why? Because his focus is split. And as a result of the split focus, crime intelligence as a division is suffering. That's how I understood it. I just wanted to state for the record, not all of us interpreted it in that gesture.
So is that what you said, General Sibiya, that we are not convinced that it's ideal for General Khumalo to be head of crime intelligence?
It's very wrong to have him to have his feet both in the investigation and in intelligence. He cannot be. If you are it's the first time also it happens like that. All the previous intelligence heads have never been running investigations and also running intelligence. You conduct investigation and you're not only focusing on political killing. You choose cases that you want to focus on. You want to go to Forte, you go take. Forte is not a PKTT. There are other then they bring in traditional leaders cases, but in other areas in the country they don't go. I just read about the one in Mpumalanga. Many cases of political killing testing, they are not involved. I can still mention the one of IFP who was killed 2-3 months ago. The IFP council, it was I think member of parliament was killed, but
Yeah, I think what the member wants to understand, when you say it's not ideal, and now you emphasize it that it's very wrong. Are you saying it in terms of his abilities or in terms of division of labor? Because at some point you said, I think you made a statement like he was somebody's driver.
no.
And that he knows nothing about investigation. So if we can just understand that proper when you say it's very wrong to have him as head of intelligence, is it wrong because of his abilities? Is there a mismatch? Or is it wrong because the focus must be on one field and it's like there is a combination?
First, let's get it right, Chair. When I talk about the driver, there is a Lieutenant Colonel Khumalo,
Oh, okay.
and there is Major General Khumalo who's in Gauteng. There is Divisional Commissioner Khumalo, who's the Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence. So I say, if you are the head of intelligence, that's the position that you must take serious. You're carrying the country's intelligence. Your line of approach, your line of work and operations is to focus on intelligence work and support the country on intelligence work. But let the investigators investigate. Let us, intelligence people, gather, collect, and collate and supply. That is the difference. Chair, I do have information in relation to the corruption at the University of Port, but I'm not so sure whether this is something that I can just hint without reading the names, unless I'm forced to by the council, by this house. I will do that, but I do have.
Look, I can check with you. Is there anything that prevents you from listing the names?
You see, council,
Or is it possible for you to submit the list?
I think it's best to submit it. It's better when we submit it rather than really trying to create drama like
Okay.
some are doing. I don't think it's necessary to be mentioning people's name like this.
Okay. Honorable Skosana.
Yeah, I think, as he said, General said that there's between 6 and almost 10 members. And on the submission here, we have 4. There's names, there's 4, on page 176 and 177. The names are already there. I'm not going to say much. I think tomorrow we will get to it. But explosive, I must say. Thank you.
No. You know, honorable members, you remember in one of our proceedings, we said that when we speak, we must not inject fear in each other. No, Honorable Skosan, you know, when you say no tomorrow, but explosive, I don't think that that is the right way to use. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Honorable Ngola.
No, Chair, I was going to do a follow-up on the proposal I made. I think in the index core bundle, there is the names, as Honorable Skosana is saying, in page 177. Therefore, of course, with some Sergeant Mkhwanazi who received a polo neck and a coat. Thank you, Chair.
But why do you have to do that, Honorable Ngola? Senior counsel, when we broke earlier, I said we should come back at 8. And so we came back at 20:10. So now it's 22 hours. We are going to break at 10 minutes after 22 hours. So you have 10 minutes now to do that which was left, and then we will break and come back. We are not breaking now, Skosana. The senior counsel is finishing the 10 minutes of the time allocated to him.
Can I finish up, Honorable Chair?
I don't know, when you say you finish up, you mean you can run to the end, or you
I can run to the end without having to take
without having to break?
It's not.
Oh, okay.
General Sibiya, is there factions, or are there factions, or is there factionalism in the police, in SAPS?
That's a most difficult question. But looking at how things are at this point in time, I'm sure the whole country has watched how the National Commissioner, together with General Khumalo and General Mkhwanazi, have been carrying on. You can see that General Masemola, basically, General Khumalo and other team members were arrested by IDEC. I didn't know the reason why they were arrested. I was not even part of the whole thing. But I know that angered General Mkhwanazi and General Masemola to an extent that they reacted to this arrest. And unfortunately, the newspaper article then suggested that the National Commissioner will be arrested next week. And as a result, the next thing what happened, for the whole week, he was not actually that much active because we could not see him. We were the one attending the meetings. And I heard General Mkhwanazi last week here in this committee saying the National Commissioner was at the doorstep of being arrested. And that's why they did what they did. So which confirmed the fact that that was a preemptive strike. But what I want to say is that is there a faction? It is for this committee to decide. But what I want to put on the table then is that let's take for an example. There is these members of crime intelligence who were arrested. The National Commissioner appoints General Patekile in the Western Cape to conduct an investigation. Then I get suspended. The National Commissioner appoints Patekile to investigate. I get suspended on issues related to issues that affect General Khumalo. He appoints the same General Patekile to investigate. The National Commissioner, there is an investigation that is being conducted apparently where from the Public Service Commission, they're investigating the appointment of Major General Sibola, who is in the office of the National Commissioner. The National Commissioner still appoint, I'm told, is same General Sibola, who clears this investigation of General Sibola, saying that the National Commissioner can appoint whoever he wants to appoint and that they must condone. I don't have that report, I'm not sure. The National Commissioner, after Khumalos were arrested, he clears them within 2 weeks, their investigation is clear. There is an investigation that is running by IPIT that involves one of the lieutenant generals, the Deputy National Commissioner at IPIT. I'm also told that this investigation, the internal investigation, has quickly been completed and cleared. I know IPIT is still running, but internally they are cleared. In my case, I was not under investigation by any institution, and other than the investigation that they themselves, like your Khumalo and General Mkhwanazi, and they are running after me about. So I'm just saying, looking at the unfair way in which this whole thing is being handled, one can actually come to a conclusion that there are those that are very close to the heart of the National Commissioner, and there are those that he wants to see out of the police. I know where I'm sitting. I'm now, as we speak, I'm facing 4 parallel processes. 4. At this point in time, I'm supposed to focus on the Madlanga and the ad hoc. And as I'm trying to focus on these 2, I'm expected to watch the proceedings and record so that I can also go and put a report together so that I can also represent myself there. Then I was then suspended and charged departmentally. Now I must go then to the other labor lawyers to deal with this thing when I'm dealing with these ones that are assisting with Madlanga. Then as I'm still looking at that, then I get criminally chased on again. So now I must now look for the lawyer for the criminal, because each and every environment that has got in its own expertise. Now I'm facing with 4 processes. I haven't been sleeping. I have to, during the day, attend to the unions. I have to attend to that lawyers. I have to, at night, I must listen to what, who said what about me. So it hasn't been an easy process. Now, before I left, before the National Commissioner suspended me, after the arrest of General Khumalo, he calls me. He makes me to sign the approval for the finance support for General Khumalo and the team that was arrested. In my case, we are applied to date. We haven't had anything. And you do get lawyers who says, no, I can't spend so much time and I have nothing. I'm not being paid. Tomorrow they ask you a question, but who's financing your legal battles? And they are not approving it as well. What must I do? And it was clear that you go to the ad hoc, you go to the Madlanga or criminal, you are entitled to be covered, but I'm not. So I'm just saying, these are the things that makes me believe that all animals are equal, but others are more equal than others.
What is this? Does this manifest a differences with you, a dislike of you, or even victimization? Or does this manifest that there are factions within SEPS?
All of those.
All of those.
Yes. I feel that in my case, remember, I came back as a result of the court order, the labor court that says go back to your work. And many heard General Mkhwanazi saying, I don't know why this man came back. I don't know why the organization allowed him back. I don't know why your colleague would say that, because I joined the police at a very young age when I was 20 years old. Today I'm 57 years old. I've been working very hard for this organization, and he knows that how we were released is because of my involvement in the investigation of Richard Mudl. I'm the one who arrested Richard Mudl, not him. I worked with Minister Begitele, former Minister Begitele. I reported to him at that time, and General Dramat and Petros. And then General Mkhwanazi was just there for a few months and then also removed, and then Minister Riapiaga. I am the one who was involved there. Now, when we were released or removed, all of us, because of the rendition matter, where I was not involved, that's why the court said this can't be, because this man you can see was not there. The same applies to this thing of this disbandment. I cannot for the life of me, where I'm sitting, imagine that an instruction, a lawful instruction comes from the minister to the national commissioner, from the national commissioner to me. And a deputy national commissioner must lose his job because of that. And then they bring other stories to muddy the whole thing and say, no, it's because of the cartels. We didn't know what we now know. They are not connected, this thing. Just tell me what was my role in those cartels that you're talking about. Where I'm sitting, I have a document that was produced by Crime Intelligence. When the minister said, I want to know who's supplying firearms. Where do these firearms coming from? Why are we not able to arrest these people that are supplying the firearms? And who's supplying drugs? Where do they manufacture drugs? Do we know who are the kingpins? Do we know where the clandestine laboratories are? Why are you not arresting them? The presentation was presented by Crime Intelligence. We have those presentations. The big five that is being spoken about is not there. And if it is indeed true, it is there, it exists, why are they not being arrested? For drugs or for whatever reason it may be. But personally, I'm not involved in the big five. I don't know the big five. So I'm just saying, you ask a simple question, are there cartels or are there factionalism in the South African Police Service? I'm tempted to say yes, but I think it's better left to this committee to look at what is happening after our presentation and decide on that thing.
Well, you said at paragraph 110 of your statement on page 34, I do not believe that SAPS is playing factionalism.
Why did I say? Which one? Which paragraph?
At paragraph 110 on page 34.
That's exactly what I said.
That's what you said.
Yes, I said I do not believe that SAPS is plagued with factionalism. However, I will make oral submission when I appear in front of the committee on some observations.
Yeah, so you've spoken about...
Those observations are the ones that I was talking about now.
Yes.
Yes.
Kumalo, and then you related, it's all in paragraphs from 108 through to paragraph 115. You describe your relationship with Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, with Kumalo, and then with the National Commissioner.
Logically speaking, Chair, if you are the accounting officer of an organization and a senior member is charged in terms of the MFMA or PFMA, you are expected to act, and especially if it involves finances, you are expected to act. There's no way that a person is criminally charged by a department such as IDEC, and you don't act. You just keep the person, you even bring the person to work in your office. You're defying logic there. There's no way that a person who's been charged by the criminal court of law charged for corruption or for whatever they've been charged for. You can't keep the person. You must say to the person, now that you've been charged, we suggest that maybe perhaps you should go stay at home and then clear your name and then come back. Not to quickly, within 2 weeks, even conduct an investigation that clears them, and then they continue to run as normal as possible, yet they are facing criminal cases. In my case, everybody, you are making it clear to the whole world that you are pushing me out. You want to see me out. And you are even embarrassing me. You send him, I'm the Deputy National Commissioner, you send in the special task force, junior members that I've been working with to come and harass me at my house. It's not fair. Let me not say too much, Chair.
Yeah, sometimes you shouldn't. And I just ask you lastly, do you know any of the deputy ministers?
Yes, I know them.
Both
Both of them.
Deputy Minister Matale and Dr. Boshelo.
Yes.
You probably know Deputy Minister, but Matale better because he was the deputy also to former Minister Cele.
Yes, but I know them equally the same because it's not like I meet them every day.
What is your relationship with them?
No relationship whatsoever. It's a professional relationship. They are the deputy ministers of the organization.
Have you ever exchanged WhatsApps with either of them?
I have exchanged many WhatsApp messages with all of them. And but that what was spoken about the last time that involved I forgot the name. Please remind me if you have it because I know where you are going, Council. Let me put it this way. That is not my language to call someone a Keida Makubela or something like that. Can we read it? But that message, unless it's a message that was sent to me by somebody and I forward to the either Inspector General or to Deputy Minister Matal, I don't remember, I don't know. But I'm not the author of that WhatsApp message because that's not my language.
Do you want me to read it to you?
Please.
Good afternoon, DM. Is that for Deputy Minister or for
Yes.
Deputy Minister Matale?
Yes. Deputy Minister.
Which one?
DM is Deputy Minister.
So it could be either Matale or Boshelo.
Yes.
Please note the following.
Please?
No, I'm reading, I'm back quoting you the WhatsApp. It says, please note the following. One, a source has indicated that CI, that's Crime Intelligence, has procured new spyware equipment to the value of 13 million rands over the past weekend. The equipment was sourced from China and did not follow the normal processes, e.g., minister needs to sign for anything more than 10 million. Then my suggestions that we should commit the National Commissioner to this. He needs to come out and say whether he knows about it or not. If not, he must investigate. If yes, why is the minister not informed? Then it goes on. Then it goes on to say, therefore, only a handful of individuals are privy to the details of the procurement and its usage. They include the current DivCom, the Secret Service account head, the supply chain head, and a tech specialist. It is believed that the usage of said equipment will be for political purposes, targeting ANC leadership. DM comments. DM should take note of the above and exercise vigilance with any type of electronic communication such as cell phones, emails, etc. Yeah, then it's cut off. What's it? No. Comrade Matabula has also been briefed. Please try to check. I'm not sure what is going on.
Now, I don't even know who's Comrade Matebula. And I don't talk the language of Comrade Matebula or what, or the ANC. I'm not involved in politics. So this one, be rest assured, the chair and the House, I don't take responsibility for this message, and I actually deny it with the contempt it deserves. I at all, I don't associate myself in that type of writing, and I don't accept it at all. Total.
So now that has your electronic equipment been seized, you handed it over? It's been seized.
It was seized now, and then they're still waiting for this one that I'm having now, but I must still go and hand over.
You're still sitting.
Can we
You're still sitting with your cell phone.
get closer to the microphone, Senior Counsel?
You're still sitting with your cell phone.
Yes.
So I must still hand that over.
And they're waiting for it. As soon as I land, they want it.
So you're pretty confident that this WhatsApp is not going to be downloaded?
They won't download it, not in me. But remember, this is crime intelligence. Anything is possible. But it's not my language, Chair. I'm not a comrade, and I don't know who Comrade Matebula is. And I've never circulated anything that speaks about to do this for that for the ANC. Just when you begin to talk about the comrade, and I spoke to Comrade so-and-so, and no, take me out of there. So I'm saying I reject it. Even if they can show it to me, I'll reject it.
Thank you, General Sibiya. Thank you for your patience and your cooperation and your stamina.
No, the last thing that I wanted to just confirm, Chair, may I say that I worked well with the National Commissioner. And when you look at my performance contract, and I wish we can go to my performance contract, which page? The National Commissioner assessed me, and has been assessing me 301. The National Commissioner has been assessing me very well. He said I'm competent. Yes. Now, when you go to 302, you can see that I gave myself the self-rating of competent, and the supervisor also rated me competent, and the agreed rating is competent, all of them. And then you can see the date is 2025-04-04. And I was also informed by the office that manages the performance of the detectives, that says to me, in terms of the performance index of the detectives, it has improved since I joined. In April 2023, it was the rate was at 44.41, and the grading was at 2, and the rating was D, and that is that of the at head office. Now, when you look at as it goes down, it improves from the first one, April 2023, and you can see January 2024, it was at 63, and then at annual, it is 53.84. And you turn the page, you will see that in April 2024, it's at 65. In May, 65.95. When you go to semester one, quarter two, semester one, it was at 71%. In October 2024, it was at 74%. On the 10th month, the performance index of the detectives is at 74.02. And that was also even confirmed by General Rabi in a meeting that the detectives seem to be doing very well, and the performance has never been where it is now for many years. Now, I'm just saying, the relationship between myself and the National Commissioner, even when you look at from between January to the 4th of July, we were working well with the National Commissioner. I've been with him, going with him to places. He's been sending me in all important meetings. I've been chairing all important meetings, including the Board of Commissioners. I have been acting also as the National Commissioner. To me, to hear that the National Commissioner has always been believing that I am involved with the drug cartels, that is beyond me. So I'm just saying, I do know that I've been at some point called by the media houses, sometimes media people who says they want answers from me, and then I said, okay, what is in connection with? They say, can we meet? And then I meet, and I listen to them. They say, do you know that they say you are about to be arrested? And say, arrested, but what for? They say you are involved in cash in transit and in drugs. I'm every day with the National Commissioner or with the minister. I'm all over throughout the country. I don't have time to go to meet some drug lords somewhere and start engaging in the operations such as those. So I'm just saying that I don't commit crime. I'm not involved in crime. It is unfortunate that at this point in time, I'm faced with the situation that I'm faced with. My request to this committee, Chair, is that I'm still to participate at Madlanga. I'm facing the disciplinary process. I'm facing the criminal case. And my raid was made public. And then even when I was suspended and I was instructed to return the firearms and the appointment certificate and all that, and then it was also leaked that says, no, we took things such as firearms and this and that. That puts the life of my family in danger. So this is the position where I find myself. I had to prepare coming here, and I don't have my devices, my laptop. I don't have my access to the documents. I had to make sure that I prepare for this. To me, I want the chair to take note that I fought hard, I worked hard to try and be able to present here, but it is difficult for me. Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity to present, and honorable members, I really appreciate the opportunity. Just waiting for tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you so much. Honorable members, this is how we're going to proceed. Can I take the hand of Honorable Skosana?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted clarity, Chair, not a question once again. The evidence leader asked the witness about the message on WhatsApp. So I'm not sure whether I heard very well that he said perhaps is the one which he forwarded because he's talking about the CADA or whatever. And I want for him to put it on record in terms of clarity. Does he own up to the WhatsApp message, or that WhatsApp message alleged between himself and the deputy minister is not his WhatsApp? Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, it's just for him to re-emphasize, because I think he has said it in a chapter and a verse. That is what he wants you to repeat what you said, General, but I think I heard you properly when you said, even if it's brought to me, I will reject it. It's not my message.
General, I almost said General. You will be a General, Shah. I must say that is not my writing style. I don't call people comrade. And I don't know who Comrade Okeda Matebula is. That message, whoever has got it must own it. It's not my message.
Okay. Thank you so much. Honorable members, please listen properly. We are going to break for 10 minutes. And then when we come back, we will adjourn the meeting. No, it's just Just on a lighter note, honorable members, I want to bring the following to your attention. There are two honorable members, Honorable Breitenbach and Honorable Nomvalo, who came to me to request to be released for sure. The honorable members sitting next to Nomvalo could have noticed that he was struggling very badly. So we had to release him to get attention. And then Honorable Breitenbach had a commitment, which it's a prior arrangement. So I should think the members may be able to rejoin us tomorrow. Earlier in the morning, we read a list of members who were going to arrive late due to the challenges of flights. And in that list, we had not included the names of Honorable James and Honorable Sangoni. So we have to put it on record that the members have informed the table that there were 4 names that were read in the morning. So for the purpose of proper recording, it must be 6 names. Honorable Sangoni, Honorable James, Honorable Matthews, Honorable Skosana, Honorable Nomvalo, and Honorable Mwango. Those were the names that should be recorded. And the last apology, or the last 2, were for Honorable Malema and Honorable Ngola. And the rest of you arrived on time when the meeting started. So tomorrow, we are starting at 10 o'clock. And then I want to take this opportunity and thank General Sibiya. It has been a long day. And I very carefully listened to the last part that you made. We want to thank you for your endurance. And we will meet again tomorrow. Do not take home that statement that says it will be explosive. We are going to be cordial, like we have been today. Senior Counsel, I want to thank you. Thank you so much. Thank the honorable members for their commitment, the staff of Parliament, under the leadership of Dr. Tuli. I want to thank you so much, the members of the media who have been with us here the whole day today. I also want to profusely thank you. The meeting, the proceedings of today have unfortunately come to an end. Thank you so much.
Good night, Chair.